Good morning and welcome to the first episode of Rise and Shine Yoga. I'm Paul from the Oxford Yoga Studio in downtown Oxford, and assisting me this morning is one of my teachers, Stephanie.
Good morning, everyone.
I'd like you to start at the front of your mat in a very comfortable seated position. You can have your legs outstretched or you can have your legs crossed. I'd like you to sit up tall, close your eyes, and just breathe. And I want you to just try to check in with your body, with your breath, and kind of just settle down, settle in, check to see how your body's feeling. In your mind, check to see if your mind has a lot of thoughts racing around. And just try to calm your mind, breathe, relax, as we get ready to start our practice this morning. Deep inhales through the nose and exhales through the mouth. Very slow, very gentle. Calming the mind, calming the body. As you come to your mat this morning, leave everything that happened yesterday, put it to the side. Put everything that may happen in the future, put that to the side. And just breathe and stay in the moment. Now let's take 5 more big breaths, in and out through the nose, deep inhales, deep exhales. And take 1 more breath. Now, still seated, I'd like you to bring your palms together and center them at the heart. And before we start any yoga practice, I think it's good to make an intention. I consider an intention like a dedication for your practice. And I would suggest this morning that you dedicate this practice, this work that you're going to be doing this morning to yourself. That you're taking the time to take care of yourself this morning. A lot of times we neglect ourselves. But today, this morning, right now, I want you to take care of yourself. And once you've made your intention, as we go through our practice this morning, if at any time you're struggling, your mind's racing, you're just not feeling good, come back to this intention that you're doing this yoga for you. And having made that intention, I'd like you to start to change your breath. In yoga, it's called the yoga breath. So I'd like you to take a deep inhale through your nose and an exhale through your nose. And on your exhale, I'd like you to make the sound you would make when fogging up a mirror, a sound in the back of your throat. So deep inhale through your nose and an exhale. And this breath, this yoga breath, like our intention, will lead us throughout our practice this morning. The breath will lead you from one pose to the next pose. It's controlled, it's slow, we're not rushing, we're not huffing and puffing with our breath. And again, if at any time during your practice you find that you're struggling, that the breath is shallow, please take the time, come back to the breath, come back to your intention. And now let us start to warm up. Inhale your arms overhead, interlace the fingers, and exhale to the right, a little bit of a side bend, slowly stretching our left side and maintaining our strong breath in and out through the nose. Now inhale back to center and exhale to the left. And again, a side bend, opening up the right side. Inhale to center. Now let's take that one more time to the right. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. Inhale to center, and let's exhale one more time to the right. Inhale to the center, exhale to the left. Now release your fingers and hands and bring your palms together, center at the heart. And now let us roll forward onto our mat into what is called tabletop position. In tabletop position, you want your hands firmly grounded into the mat. You want your hands underneath your shoulders. You want your knees underneath your hips. And you want your feet directly behind your knee. So take a quick look between your legs. If you can see your toes, move them back behind your knees. And we're going to do what is called cat-cows. So we're kind of loosening up the spine. So take a big inhale through the nose, drop the belly, lift the head. And exhale, round the back like a cat. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head. And exhale, round the back. Again, inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head. And exhale, round the back. Now come back to a flat back. And this time I'd want you to bring the big toes of your feet together. Sit back on your heels and fall forward into down dog. Now down dog, as Stephanie is showing, I think of it as a pose of comfort, of safety. And that at any time during your practice today, if you're struggling with the poses, please come back to down dog, the relaxing pose, the comfortable pose. Then we're going to stay here for a couple more breaths. And we're going to slowly come up back to the table, knowing that we can come back to child's pose at any time. And now we're going to start to do a little bit more balance and core work. So on your inhale, raise your left arm in front of you with the thumb up. And a strong breath, keeping your core engaged. And if you'd like, extend your right leg back, up about hip height. If you're shaking or moving, that's fine. And no matter what you're doing, I always want you to have a smile on your face and good intentions. A couple more breaths. And exhale back down. And we're going to do that to the right side. Inhale your right arm straight, thumb up. And if you'd like, take your left leg back, toes facing down. Deep breath. Your left hand is firmly grounded into the floor. Your abs are engaged. And take that one more breath. And exhale your hand and legs to the ground. And we're going to take that one more time on the left side. Inhale your left arm forward, right leg down. Exhale, place them down. Inhale your right arm forward, left leg out. Exhale them down. Inhale, right arm forward, left leg down. And one more time, right arm forward, left leg down. And take rest. Come back to the breathing. In the next part of our class, we will begin the sun salutation sequence.
Okay, well, remember last week when you hit Vinny in the head with the shovel?
I do not recall that.
Of course not. Well, it was too graphic for the kids, so I'm going to have to block you.
You know, I got to make this
That's
up.
really not
This is Vinny's watch.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the village of Leonard.
And welcome back to the next segment of Rise and Shine Yoga. For this episode, or this part of the program, we're going to do some standing poses. And if you've done any yoga for any period of time, or if you're just starting out, you will become familiar with this pose of Sun Salutation A. It's kind of the foundation of a lot of yoga classes. And so let's check our foundation. In a standing foundation like this, you want your feet firmly grounded into the mat, like you're going to push your feet through the floor. You want to stand up tall. You want your arms by your side, palms open, but you want your arms really engaged. You don't want them just flopping around. You want your strong Ujjayi breath or yoga breath, and you want your shoulder blades relaxed. And a good way to relax your shoulders, I find, is to shrug your shoulders up, bring them back, and down. So, with our foundation checked, our abs engaged, we're going to inhale, reach and rise our arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward at the hips. Inhale, put your hands on your shins and look up. And exhale, step back to the top of a push-up. Now, we're going to stay here for just a bit. So for this, you want your hands firmly grounded into the mat, right underneath your shoulders. And you want to press your heels back. That helps keep your back and everything in one line. Now from here, we're going to exhale, but we want our elbows tucked into our chest. So slowly down, leading with the heart. And from here, I want you to straighten your arms, lift your chest. This is up dog. And then from here, exhale, lift your hips, uncurl the toes, downward facing dog. Now, I always find for down dog alignment, a good way to make sure we're properly aligned is to shift forward into a plank position without moving your hands or feet, and then shifting back. So shift forward and back. And since this is our first down dog, why don't we just start to pedal our feet like a bicycle, very slowly. And in down dog, you want to lift your hips while pressing down with your heels. You want your hands firmly grounded. Your eyesight or gaze should be between your legs. Now, at the end of your next exhale, look between your hands and walk both feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold forward. Then inhale, reach and rise. Exhale, palms together, center at the heart. So that is a very basic sun salutation A. We're going to do a few more, and we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. So again, checking your foundation. Inhale, reach and rise your arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back to the top of a push-up. And slowly lower down, all the way to the bottom. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest. Up dog. Exhale, uncurl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And we're going to stay here for 5 strong breaths, in and out through the nose. And at the end of your last exhale, look between the hands, walk, step to the front of the mat. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, reach and rise, really extend those arms overhead. Exhale, palms to center. Right into the next one. Inhale, reach and rise, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, walk back to the top of a push-up, and slowly lower all the way to the bottom. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest, up dog, uncurl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And again, 5 strong breaths, pressing your heels down while lifting your hips. Your eyesight or gaze is between your legs. Your hands and fingers are firmly planted into the mat, and your abs are engaged. And of course, breathe or come back to your intention. At the end of your next exhale, look between the hands, walk, step, jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, all the way up, arms reach. Exhale, palms together, center of the heart. And take a breath, take a breath. Check your foundation, check where your body's at, where your mind is at. If you need to grab a sip of water, do so. And now we're going to do another standing pose. We're going to go into Warrior One. So checking your foundation, you're firmly grounded. Inhale, arms overhead. Now keeping your arms overhead, I want you to step your right foot back, and I want you to put a lunge into your left leg. And we're going to stay here for just a bit. I want you to look down at your left leg, make sure your knee is over your ankle, not your toes. Your right foot should be flat. And everything is engaged. Your feet are engaged like you're going to rip apart the mat. Your arms are strong so that if I came by, it would be really hard for me to separate your arms. Your hips should be square to the front of the mat. And of course, you're breathing. We'll just stay here for a couple more breaths. One more breath. And step your right foot to the front of the mat. Bring your palms together, center of the heart. And let's do that on the left side. So inhale, arms overhead. Step your left foot back with a lunge into your right knee. Look down at your right knee. Make sure it's over your ankle, not your toes. Strong arms. Your hips square to the front of the mat. One more breath. And bring your left foot to the top of the mat, palms together at the center of the heart. And take a breath as we prepare for our next segment in seated poses.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
All right, listen, we all need a little nudge sometimes. I don't function without coffee in the morning, but it is going to take more than a double mochaccino to help you here.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns.
No quiero ir. Danny, no lo puedo hacer. Quiero ir. Danny, lo voy a hacer.
TMC, liking your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Jebs. Just keeping it real.
Louder, louder. I'm gonna get my GED. Come on, get your GED.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the village of Leonard.
Welcome back. This is the last segment of our practice this morning, and we're going to be in a seated position for this segment. So for this first pose, I'd like you to have your legs outstretched in front of you, your toes pointed back at you. You're sitting up tall, your shoulder blades are back. And this pose is called Paschimottanasana, or Western stretch. So take a big inhale, reach and rise your arms overhead. And then exhale, hinging at the hips, fold forward, and either grab your feet or your shins. Take a big inhale, come back up. And then exhale, fold forward for more of a stretch. Now, your back should always be flat. You shouldn't be rounding your back. Think of it as having your heart coming towards your toes. Your legs are engaged, your feet are engaged, your arms are engaged. You have that deep yoga breath. Your shoulder blades should be relaxed. And on every inhale and exhale, try to go a little bit deeper. If you have a bind on your feet, and this feels good, take your elbows out to the side for more of a stretch that will pull you in. And we're going to stay here for about, another 20 seconds. So on every inhale and exhale, try to go a little bit deeper. And again, have that strong breath. Take one more deep breath. And exhale, come back up to sitting, bring your hands by your side. And now we're going to go into a pose that I think I'm probably the only one that likes it. It's a great core pose. It's called boat pose. And I'll give you a couple of options. The first option is take your feet, bottom of your feet, and place them on the mat, have your knees bent. You can take your hands, place them on the back of your knees, and that's option one. You keep your abs engaged, everything's engaged. Option two, you can be in this position and then just raise up your knees. Option three, you can extend the legs or your hands. So those are a couple of options. We're going to do probably 3 sets of 3 breaths. So whichever option you'd like, take a deep inhale and then rise up. And in boat pose, it is always good to smile. And if you're shaking or you're falling around, that's fine. It's just yoga. It's just yoga. Take one more breath. And exhale, bring your feet to the ground. Cross at your ankles and take your hands by either side of your hips and just bump up a little bit. And then lower. And then let us continue with the second set of boat poses. Take a big inhale and rise up, or whatever option you took. Now with boat pose, you want your back straight, you want your heart or chest open, and you want to breathe and smile. Take one more breath, and exhale, release your feet to the floor. Cross your ankles. Let's just do a little bit of a bump up. And let's do our last boat pose. Inhale, and smile, and laugh. It's just yoga. Yoga's fun. And deep breath. Take one more breath. Maybe go a little bit higher. And exhale, your feet back down. Cross at your ankles, and bump up. Now, I'd like you to take the soles of your feet and bring them out a little bit in front of you, have them touching. So you don't want the soles of your feet close. This is like a modified butterfly stretch or bound angle. And from here, I just want you to relax. Let your hands, arms fall, let your chin drop to your chest. This is a bit of a yin pose, or a more relaxing pose. There shouldn't be a lot of straining. If you've lost your breath, come back to it. And this kind of yin posture really helps the connective tissue get stronger, the ligaments, the tendons. So just relax into the pose, and we're just going to stay here for a little bit. And as you're in this pose, start to check in to see how your body feels, your mind feels from when we first started. Hopefully it's much more relaxed. You feel a little bit refreshed. And just breathe, knowing that whatever happens throughout your day, you can always come back to your mat, to child's pose, to this pose, to take refuge, to take care of yourself. Another about 15 seconds. Just like gravity, take its course, let the knees fall, let go. Now slowly release and come up. And I want you to make your way just down on your back. And from here, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself, this is called a hug of gratitude for the work you've done this morning. Big squeeze into your chest. Rock side to side. And then from here, you can either rock or push your way up to a seated position. Have your ankles crossed. Sit up tall for our final pose of Shavasana. Close your eyes, let go of the breath. Thanking yourself for taking the time this morning to take care of yourself, to come to your mat. Just let the breath go and breathe. And come back to that first attention you made of why you came here. Hopefully, checking with your body, you feel better. So that is the end of our first segment of Rise and Shine Yoga. Hopefully you can watch this program on OCTV in Oxford. We plan on being a once-a-week episode. Again, I'm Paul from Oxford Yoga Studio and my assistant Stephanie. We want to thank you for joining us this morning. And just as we end, bring your palms together, center of the heart. Tilt your chin to chest. The light in me bows, reflects, and honors the beautiful light. Thank you, guys. Namaste.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away. But making sure your child is in the right seat is just one of the steps down the road to safer travels.
I don't know how it works.
Find the right seat for your little one's age and size.
We saw what you told us.
There's no better way to get home safely. Know for sure that your child is in the right seat. Get all the facts at safercar.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Oh, listen now. Can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now. Can you feel the sun? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. 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 Can you feel the sun?
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the Village of Leonard.